Rob, let's stick with the NFL and stick with quarterbacks, star quarterbacks for that matter. Aaron Rodgers. So the reports are out that the New York Jets already have spoken to Rodgers and that today they were flying to meet with Rodgers. And I obviously have landed. That was this afternoon. And I don't know if they may be meeting with him as we speak. But remember, of course, Rob, Rodgers under contract with the Packers. And so they had to get permission. The Jets had to get permission to talk with Rodgers from the Packers, or it would be tampering. And so obviously it appears that the Packers they're certainly willing to listen to teams that might want to trade for him, if not downright done with him, as it was reported a couple of weeks ago. And the reports, Rob, also that Aaron Rodgers is open to going to New York to play for the Jets. Your thoughts?
Still don't think it's going to happen. It's like this would be so weird to me that he would follow Brett Favre's path to the Jets and to that organization, to the AFC. It just sounds weird to me. I don't have any other, you know what I mean, insight to tell you why I believe that. I just don't. I know the Jets talked to Derek Carr a couple times. Nothing happened.
They made it clear to him that he was like, their second choice. Yeah, it was clear to everybody else. That's for sure.
Right, but they talked to him twice. So I don't see that scenario happening. I'm going to stick to my guns.
So you see Rodgers going back to Green Bay?
Yeah, that's what I just my gut, Chris. I can't tell you why I believe that. It just seems very weird that he would do the same exact thing Brett Favre did.
I don't think the Favre thing is a factor because, number one, he's already done what Favre is doing. I mean, obviously he hasn't gone to the Jets yet, but Favre it was ridiculous with him every offseason and whether or not he was going to play, was he going to retire? And it's the same thing with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, if he was so hell-bent on not following in Brett Favre's footsteps, he got a funny way of showing it because he's done exactly the same thing. And I don't think he's trying to, but he just has. And I think the thing with the Jets, Rob, number one, Favre, that was a long time ago. I mean, a lot of young people don't even realize Favre even went to the Jets. He had the one good season with Mangini, but, it wasn't like he won a Super Bowl. That's my other thing, Rob. If he went there and won a Super Bowl with the Jets, maybe, again, it would still be a long time ago, but maybe that would make it a factor. But he went to the Jets. They had one nice year, and that was it. So it's not like he really put his imprint on the franchise. So I don't even think a lot of people would think about that. Some people, of course, it would be pointed out. It would be pointed out. But again, he's already doing a lot of the things Favre did. So I personally don't think that's a factor.
I didn't say it was a factor. I'm just saying I can't imagine him doing the same thing. I didn't say it was a factor
on purpose,
in his decision,
not wanting to do it.
In his decision. I'm just saying I can't see two longtime Green Bay quarterbacks winding up with the Jets. That's what I can't see.
What I can't see is where else Rodgers is going, because the Packers clearly are ready to let him go. I'm not saying they're going to give him away. And we still don't know if the full reporting from Bob McGinn, who's the longtime, writer in Milwaukee. We don't know if it's fully true, or he's in Wisconsin. But, he said they were ready to move on to Jordan Love. And I get that. It's time to move on as far as I'm concerned. I don't think they're winning a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he's bound. I think he can have a better year than he did last year, maybe. But I don't think he's going to be the MVP caliber player he was. He's turning 40 next season. Everybody's not going to be Tom Brady, LeBron James, these guys who've defied time, unlike others we've seen. And so, I don't think they're going to win the NFC with Rodgers next year. And so they might want to move on and see what they got in Jordan Love. He looked good in his little bit role, against the Vikings and the Eagles last year in the few minutes he played. But Rob, here's where I do tend to agree with you. I have a hard time thinking Rodgers is all in on playing for the Jets. But I think what he's all in on is that $60 million. And so I think he'll be open to going anywhere if it means, he's going to get that money. And so if I'm the Jets, I mean, again, my stance, go for Lamar. That's what I would do. But if they get Rodgers, Rob, I think they got to make sure he's at the offseason workouts with the young receivers so he gets to know them. He didn't do that last year, and it cost the Packers. And so that's a question I would have. And that's why you sit down with a guy face to face. So you can look him in the eye and see if you really believe he's all in on doing this.
Yeah, he can meet with the Jets and say, I don't want to play there. Remember, he does have a no trade, or he has to sign off on it. So he can say
no trade, but he has to
sign off.
No team's gonna trade for him if he doesn't want to
right.
play for him.
And so that's what I'm saying. He can
the
meet them and go
that he's open to it.
Yeah, but he can meet with them and say, I don't like what they got. I don't like what they're saying. And you know what? I'm looking at the NFC. I'm looking at one more run, and I want to retire. I'm going to play one more year, and I'm done. And maybe the Packers say, okay, let's just do it, run it back one more season, and we decide to move on. That could happen as well. Just because he meets with him doesn't mean he's going there. But I'll be wrong. I'll be the first one to say I'm wrong. I think he finishes his career.
No, you
won't. Will. I'll say I'm wrong.
You don't admit you're wrong very easily.
My gut is that the Jets aren't ready to win. I don't see.
Neither
if
are
I'm
the
the
Packers.
Jets. Yeah, but I think the NFC is an easier road. I do.
Well,
I believe that.
That's for sure.
I just going to the AFC and going there with Buffalo still in that division. Miami's good. I mean, I just don't really. And I'll have to wait to see on the Vikings and the Lions.
Where do you think they'd be in the AFC if they get Rodgers? What do you think they'd be in the AFC? Not record, but playoff team, contender, Super Bowl.
I think it would be up in the air. I don't think it's automatic that they'd be playoff team.
Yeah, and that's why if I'm the Jets, I'm not really that interested in Rodgers. I thought, yes, he's better than Derek Carr. Even last year, he was better than Derek Carr. But Carr is younger. Carr still could improve. He matches up with the timeline of the Jets more. The ages, Garrett Wilson's a youngster, Breece Hall.
I think if you're the Jets, you give yourself a 3 or 4 year window.
Right. And
Aaron Rodgers doesn't fit that. So you go get him. It's 1 year. Now what? Now you're still looking for a quarterback. I just don't. I don't. Totally it doesn't make sense to me. It
Look,
just
Rob,
doesn't.
and you've seen this a lot of times. New York, not the Yankees, but I mean, how many times have the Knicks brought in a big name who's past his prime?
A day late
Steve
and $1
Francis.
short. Right.
It happens all the time with the Knicks. It happened with the Giants brought in Kurt Warner. Now, he did leave there and go play well in Arizona. But, they brought in him. He was not good for them.
Remember, he had a bad thumb. He couldn't hold on to the ball, Chris. He fumbled like 1,000,000 times with the Giants.
Yep. So they should not be caught up in the big name, because if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play well and he's with the Jets, Rob, it's going to be ugly. Because I don't think, the media will go after him, how he'll respond to that. It might be fun for us to watch, but I don't think it's going to be a pleasant situation if he goes there and doesn't play well. But here's where I think if they got Rodgers, Rob, and again, why I don't think they should be that interested, is they would be in the hunt for the final 1 or 2 playoff spots. I think several of the playoff spots in the AFC are taken. I mean, the Chiefs and probably the Chargers from the AFC West. I think you're going to get 2 teams from the AFC North, one Cincinnati, and depending on what happens with Lamar, either Baltimore or Cleveland. You're going to get one from the South, probably Jacksonville, and then Buffalo's in the East. That leaves one. What if Tua plays and he's healthy for 17 games? Then they're going to be good. You know, so I just think they would be in the hunt for that first or second or last or second to last playoff spot in the AFC. And Rob, here's the thing. Aaron Rodgers, I know Nate Hackett is there for him, former OC, but Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay last year, third best offensive line in the league, according to Pro Football Focus. And we saw he struggled. Jets, 31st ranked offensive line in the league, which is second to last. And so they may improve it, but it's certainly not going to get up to be a top 5 offensive line. And so that's something else that, you know, it's not just having a guy who couldn't play quarterback last year there. They also got some protection issues. So I just don't think it's going to be sexy if it happens. It's going to be, you know, back pages will go crazy, Rob.
No,
you know
whenever
that.
a quarterback of that ilk moves on, absolutely.
Right.
And it wouldn't be different. We talk about it all the time. Peyton Manning played somewhere else. Joe Namath did. Just about every big-time quarterback wound up playing. And Joe Montana went to Kansas City.
I don't even think that's a big deal anymore.
You know, like,
Moving
it's
on.
right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
I just don't
that's
think
not
he's got
shocking.
as much left as those guys. Like, so, you know, Peyton obviously had a lot left when he went to Denver. But yeah, I just don't think. I mean, Aaron Rodgers wasn't even getting to the Super Bowl the last decade plus at his best, and so I just think the Jets, Rob, if they do this, they're just caught up in the money, or not the name. I'm sorry, the name. So all right,
it's also a complicated deal with his money and what it would do to them in the cap,
and they have to trade too.
And they got to give
up.
it ain't like a layup. It's complicated too.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, they got to give up some draft picks and stuff.